just got a quick question for you. No, nothing crazy. You know, me and my bros got to talking, and I was like, you know, I bet you I could fit 35s on my Ranger with no lift. And they were like, no, you can. I was like, heck yeah, I can. So what I came here to ask was, how big a tire can I fit on my Ranger with no lift?
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Oh shit!
And a Happy New Year.
Get my glasses. I got. Alright fools, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about a pretty controversial topic if you ask me. We're talking about these old girls, the wheels and the tires. So stick around, yeah. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit a like, let me know what you want to see. We're going to be having plenty of content with this old Ranger girl here. Finally got the stock tires out of the back here, and so we're going to start our camper build. That'll probably be the next video if the snowmobile rebuild video doesn't come out before that one. So yeah, stick around, here we go. As you can see right now, we have the stock tires on my truck, so from that point it can only get better. Alright, so some of you might be thinking, Doug, I've seen your other videos. If you haven't, check them out, especially the walkthrough. It's right here. But you're thinking to yourself, you had the other tires on before in all of your other videos, so why the heck do you have these guys on? Well, the answer to your question lies in the walkthrough, where I talk about ProComp sending me a bent wheel. And I had to go pick up a sled that was 2 hours away, so a 4-hour trip with a bent wheel didn't sound like a pleasant time. So went back to the old stockers. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Went back to the old stockers, and now that I got my new wheel, we're gonna put it back on. But we're gonna talk about fitting tires onto your truck and what to consider when you do it. But first, let's get this one swapped over, or at least this one taken off. So I came up with 5 considerations when looking into buying a new wheel and tire package for your truck. The first consideration is your truck a four-wheel drive or a two-wheel drive? Two-wheel drives from the factory will always sit lower than a four-wheel drive stock does. Now, that's not to say whether or not your two-wheel drive has a lift kit or whatever else, but in stock formation, two-wheel drives will sit lower than four-wheel drives. So consideration number 2, that's if you cut enough, you can pretty much fit anything you want. Now, obviously, like if this is your daily driver, you're not going to want to cut the fenders up, but there's going to be people in the comments saying, I can fit 40s on, whatever else. If you cut enough, you can pretty much fit anything. So that's consideration number 2. Consideration number 3. Consideration number 3 entails offset. Talking about offset can sometimes be a complicated subject, but what you really need to know is that it changes the location at which your tire is going to hit. Now, if you have further out offset, you might not rub on the sway bar, but you're going to rub on body panels. Now, same goes for too much positive offset. You might not rub on body panels, but you're going to rub on the sway bar. So that's consideration number 3, is offset of your wheel package. All right, so the 4th consideration to keep in mind is that you can have a leveling kit. Now, what that means is that from the factory you have a rake, meaning the rear end of the vehicle is usually higher than the front end of the vehicle. So you get a leveling kit. Provides some lift in the front in order to clear bigger tires, because that's really where your clearance issues come in, is in the front. So my truck, the Ranger, has a torsion bar key set up. So in order to lift the front, I can actually just crank what's called the torsion bar key, and that provides lift in the front. Now, some vehicles have that, some vehicles don't. It just depends on your make and model. You'll have to look that up for yourself. Now, there's other ways to level a vehicle that don't require torsion bars, but fortunately for the people who do have torsion bars, it's really easy to crank them up. Now, mine are kind of in the middle. They're not cranked all the way. If I wanted to, I could probably take it up another 1.5 inches or so, which means I could get 2-inch shackles in the rear and probably fit 33s with no problem at all. Actually, I know you can. I've seen many people on Ranger forums and on Facebook where they're running 33 by 12.5 by 15s all day long. So that is something to consider. That's the 4th consideration. All right, so last but not least, the 5th consideration. The 5th consideration includes the fact that sometimes the biggest tire is not always the best setup. You have to consider a lot of things, including your drivability. If this is your daily driver, you don't want to be having massive tires that are hard to steer and they're bumpy on the road, all kinds of things. So you want to consider the drivability. And part of that includes the weight of the wheel and tire package itself. Now, going from a 30-inch tire to a 33-inch tire, the rotating mass that you're gaining is quite a bit. So you're going to be down on power. You think of a vehicle like a Ranger where, you don't have all that much power to spare. So being down on power is kind of a big deal. You want to consider gear ratio. So when changing the tire, you're changing the ratio at which your differential is spinning. Technically. So you might lose highway speed, you might lose low end torque, just depending on going up, going down, just other things to consider. For me, I wanted something I could drive every day. I mean, my truck is my daily driver. My girlfriend has a 2019 Cherokee we take on long trips and stuff like that. So mine's mostly for pulling a snowmobile trailer or, doing off-road stuff or going, short distances around town. So for me, I could get away with, I have a 32 by 11.5 by 15 tire. It's not crazy big, but it's definitely a good sized tire, and it does sacrifice some of the drivability of it. But that being said, it still goes 65 down the road. Is it as comfortable as my stock Michelin street tires? No, but you're never going to get that. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care how much you spend on Toyos or whatever it is, you're just not going to get the same ride quality. So yeah, that's the last thing to consider. Just is it right for you? And that's really the question you have to ask yourself in the end. So thanks for watching Do It with Doug. We'll see you next time.